Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. My name is Nicole Jackson. I'm with the Black Birders Week planning team of Black AF and STEM. And today is the kickoff day for Black Birders Week. We have our special guest today, Rodney Stotts, who's a master Black Falconer. And I'm excited to chat with him about his work and his career and his legacy with falconry, conservation, and working with youth. So if you're just now tuning in, welcome. I am actually based in Columbus, Ohio. My background is in environmental education and interpretation from The Ohio State University. I've been a birder since about 2009. I'm also interested in connecting more Black people to nature and the outdoors and using nature, helping them use nature as a mental health tool. So excited for today's kickoff conversation. I actually just got done doing a falconry program here at the Grange Insurance Audubon Center in Columbus, Ohio. So I will be sharing photos about that later, which is really cool. I got to hold some raptors and do some education programming for the public. So this was a great opportunity, but also a great segue into our talk for today with Rodney Stott. So I will bring him on. And again, thank you all for tuning in. Okay, and we have Rodney. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate
it. So before I get started with our discussion, I just want to thank the planning team, Black Birders Week planning team, for helping behind the scenes and getting all of these events set up, whether they're virtual or in person. We have a lot of in-person things going on this year. I will be moderating a few discussions for Black Birders Week. And then also thanking sponsors, so National Audubon Society, Bird Collective for creating the merch, helping get the merch created. I have my, I don't know if anybody can see, I have my shirt on. So our theme this year is Wings of Justice, Soaring for Change, and we wanted to amplify environmental justice, people, and birds, and what a great opportunity to do that. And then the artist for our shirt this year was Jitterbug Art, and Latasha Green is the artist. So shout out to Jitterbug for that, and helping us celebrate our Corbin family species. So on the shirt, we are highlighting and amplifying the crow, American crow, black-billed magpie, and the blue jay. So definitely check those out on the Bird Collective website if you want to buy a t-shirt. And we also have a tote available with the same design. With that, let's get started with Rodney. So welcome. It's been a long time since we've seen each other, talk to each other. But when I was creating the flyer for this talk, I instantly thought of the photos that I had that were taken with holding your falcon, James, rest in peace, James. And just thinking about that opportunity, I think that was my actual very first opportunity learning about falconry was through that opportunity in Baltimore. I think in 2013 is when we met, and then just being in awe of a Black man holding a falcon, raptor, bird of prey, whatever, so excited. And then you're like, hey, do you want to hold? I was like, yeah. I was definitely nervous, but at the same time, I was just as excited as I'm like, I don't think I would ever have had that opportunity. So thank you so much for inviting me into your world of falconry, but also just, the personal relationship that you had, and just explaining your journey and sharing your passion.
Thank you.
As far as the audience, if anyone has questions, feel free to put those in the chat. I would try to get to many of them as I can. Probably save a few towards the end of our discussion. But I want to first get started with your journey and kind of how that started for you. So what were things like before falconry? What was your life like? And kind of just giving a background to the audience of who you were before falconry, and then we can kind of delve more into how falconry has transformed your life and your work.
Hello?
Yes. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. I can't hear you guys at all.
Okay. Hold on.
However, what got me started into falconry, and before falconry, I used to do a lot of educational programs. Let me see if I can get this in.
I can hear you, Rodney, if you can hear me.
Hello? Let me see, did it come back?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can hear the birds.
I'm sorry.
Uh-oh. I think we've lost Rodney. Hopefully he can jump back on. You're having some technical issues, but hopefully we can sort that out as far as audio. But thank you all again for tuning in and watching. Yeah, I'm going to see if he can. Oh, there he is. Bring him back.
I'm okay.
Okay, I think you're good now. Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm
okay,
sorry.
Great. Yeah, no, you're good. You're all set.
There you go. Let me get back right here. There it is. Okay.
Moving and grooving.
Hush, y'all. I'm sorry. What you said about what life was before falconry.
Yeah, before falconry, and then we'll delve into.
Well, before after. I got into the whole raptor education and environmental education field, period, I was a bad guy. I was a drug dealer, one of those guys you really didn't want to know. The young generation that you see today, we were worse than them. However, we at least had the older generation to keep us in line a little bit. So when I started with the Earth Conservation Corps, we were doing a project called Lower Beaver Dam Creek, which is a tributary to the Anacostia River. So I was doing raptor education for about maybe 15 years before I became a falconer. What happened was I went to the bosses and asked them, why do we only have birds that's injured? Why don't we ever get birds before they become injured to help them not get to that point? The same way with young people, we were only working with adjudicated youth. So my thing was, why can't we work with people before they become an adjudicated? They said the only way you can do that.
Oh, I think
I didn't understand.
You're out a little bit, Rodney. Oh no.
Black Falconer before, however, back then I guess it was an oxymoron or something. So everyone was laughing and everything. Well, 30 days later, I was a apprentice falconer. A lady named Suzanne Shoemaker, who runs Owl Moon Rescue, happened to sponsor me. And from that point on, history was being made.
Wow. So did you have an interest at all in birds or falconry before that?
I'm an animal junkie. I love all animals. I love more animals than I do people. We're the only species that lie, that will smile in each other's face, and the moment we walk away, will stab us in the back, or you meet someone today and they're instantly your friend. Animals don't do that. Animals make you earn their trust, make you earn everything. And I've never had an animal that's been around me and all of a sudden just bit me or stabbed me in the back. I've had people that do it. So I've always loved animals. It wasn't just birds. I have horses, dogs, goats, chickens, rabbits, ducks, a little bit of everything. So I love animals. It wasn't so much of the birds. What it was, as we were doing the projects along the Anacostia, we brought back the bald eagle, brought back the osprey underneath the South Capitol Street Bridge, put tracking devices on them to find out where they migrate to every year, stuff like that. So we were doing raptor education, and that's what made me end up becoming a falconer, because I never set out to be a falconer until I was told this is what you have to do, excuse me, in order to help the people that you want to help. So that's what I did.
So what elements of what you had already kind of had a connection with, and like your relationship with nature and wildlife in general, what did you bring into that work as you started to learn?
Well, I mean, my whole thing I started to learn more of an appreciation for these animals. One thing, a lot of times you don't pay any attention to how important each and every individual animal is, every species is, what it actually does, how it contributes to your life and how you contribute to its. So it really, what I thought I knew, I didn't.
Right.
And it really like broke that ego and broke you down, and then made you realize that nature is so much more than you can ever begin to understand. Just enjoy trying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful, because it is very, I agree with that. It is very transformational, and it's impactful in a way that you can't really put. I always say you can't put it into words. It's always just feelings of, joy. And it really does help you express all of your emotions, all of your feelings in different ways. And it's helped me circle back to how I think about my relationships with humans.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm not for what I do, to not be a people person, you would never think that.
Right.
I love animals. I have 6 dogs out here, 13 rabbits, 3 goats, 2 horses, 2 hawks, an owl, and about 13, 14 chickens and baby chicks running around. Give me animals all day long. If a wild animal bites you, it's because it's doing what a wild animal would do.
Right.
If a civilized human stabs you in the back, explain that one to me then.
Right.
So
yeah,
I expect certain things from an animal. And when it happens, I'm okay with it, because that's what they do. People, I can never become okay with someone looking at someone else, judging them or putting them down, or you having something and not wanting to share and things of that nature. And, I explain to people, I understand what it is to have nothing, because literally I had nothing. I have a little bit now, not a lot. And I wouldn't even count it as a little bit when it's more than what I had. So when you turn around and look back at those people who were standing there with you when you had nothing, and you see that they still have nothing, why didn't you share a little of your little bit with one of them, at least to help bring them so that they can bring the next? So that's what one of the biggest things, if you really look in nature, everything is helping something else and helping something else and helping something. And there's no squabbling. There's no any of that. It's just natural.
Yeah, there's a rhythm, balance to it all. Yeah, that's really, so you're making me think. This is really cool. And thinking about, I guess, transformation specifically, how did you use your work to connect with and inspire youth? And then what impact did you, I guess, start to see or start to notice working with youth doing falconry?
Well, basically, when it wasn't so much of using it to capture them, because the first time you saw a black guy with a hawk, you were
Right.
captured regardless. This is something we've never seen before in the,
Yep.
in the city, in the hood, and things of that nature. So first and foremost, every bird is an eagle. You can have a kestrel, and the first thing they're gonna yell, "That's an eagle! That's an eagle!" So now you automatically have their attention, you automatically
Mhm.
have their interest and everything. And now it's up to you to spread the message in a way that they understand what you're saying. Because a lot of times, what people don't do is talk to the people, they talk at them. I'm stating all of these facts of all of this educational this. You have no idea what I'm talking about. So
Right.
if I find a way that I can explain it to you and break it down where you will still get exactly what the meaning is,
Yeah.
then there you go. So you didn't make it intimidating for them. You made it where it was something that they really wanted to do. So you're asking them questions and everything. You say, well, the next time I see you, you got to have an answer to these questions. You would be surprised how many people go and study those answers and can see you 3 years later and will walk
Mhm.
up and give you the answers to those questions that you posed to them 3 years ago.
Mm. Wow. And it's a different way to learn too when you can connect it to your everyday and like things that you've experienced yourself. I feel like it sticks better, at least for me. 'Cause I'm like book smarts, reading books and having to take exams and all that stuff. That's not my wheelhouse. But if it's like connected to an experience or something I'm passionate about or feel inspired by, or even just curiosity or even sense of wonder, like that awe feeling, I'm even more like tapped into it. So I love that you bring that up. And always, yeah, just finding a way to speak someone else's language to help it make sense is,
A
yeah.
book will tell you that if a bird happens to foot you, which means take their talents and sink them into your arm, your hand, your leg, or something, that is going to be painful.
Mm,
Okay. But that book cannot tell you how much pain you're feeling. So
right.
when that bird actually does it, you're going to look at that book and say, no, you're going to scratch out, you're going to feel pain, and you're going to feel right, and you're going to feel excruciating, mind blowing, numbing, and you're going to write in all of the adjectives of what really goes there.
Hmm.
So to me, everything that's in a book isn't even really a lot of what someone experienced. It's what someone else read, and now they're giving you their opinion on. So
Yeah.
when you actually get out into falconry, the apprenticeship class, the taking the test is a lot of laws, rules, making sure you understand what species of bird, where they come from, those things. And I understand that.
Hmm.
That has nothing to do with actually training a bird.
Right.
So once you actually get that bird and have to train that bird, the book will tell you one thing. The bird is doing something that it wants to do. Has nothing to do with what's in that book.
Hmm. Mm. Um, and you actually do have a book called Bird Brother. And I kind of want to ask in terms of you, because it's a memoir, correct?
Yes.
And thinking about writing this book, what was your experience and like reasoning for writing a book, and how did that transform your kind of take on like sharing your experiences with other people? Like, what do you think the book helped people understand about you?
Okay. The reason why I was giggling a little is because at first, I never wanted a book. I
Hmm.
never asked for an interview, a documentary, anything. I just do what I do because this is what makes me happy. And I
Right.
feel like the people that passed that I made promises to honor them, this is
Hmm.
my way of doing it. So
Hmm.
I was actually doing a show. The lady Kate
Hmm.
was at a show. And at the end, she walked up and said, why haven't anyone ever written a book about you?
Mm.
I said, the people who asked me before lied to me. And the first time you lie to me, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I don't care what the lie is about, because if you do it once, you'll do it again and again and
Mhm.
again. So she said, I have never written a book before, but I'm going to this writers conference this weekend. I would like to write something and submit it about you. I said, okay. Well, she went to the conference, came back. They picked out of 50 people, 3 people to actually present to publishers.
Mm-hmm.
All 5 publishers that was there gave her their number.
Oh,
We
wow.
ended up calling one, and that's how the whole thing got started. Since the book actually came out, and I've met people who've read the book and told me what they've gotten from it, ways they've found in healing with loss of loved ones and things of that nature. I am tremendously blessed to have had it done.
Mm. That's wonderful to hear. And I'm thinking about specifically what you said about people that you've lost in the process, I guess the grieving process that you kind of are going through and continue to go through with loss. And, you know, thinking about when we started Black Birders Week, it was the start of COVID. You know, family members, friends, unfortunately passed from that. You know, it's a very, very exhausting year in so many different ways. And more people started to really like look inward and pay more attention to their mental health, and thinking about, you know, spending more time with loved ones and reaching out more. What has that been like for you, dealing with loss or dealing with grief, and how has your love for nature and animals helped you find that peace?
Well, with the losses, 95% of all of my animals are named after a loved one. To me, you die twice. Once when you physically die, and then the last time someone mentions your name. We all say, "Gone but never forgotten," and you never hear these people speak of them again. You never see them go to the gravesite and lay a flower down for them, but none of those things. And everyone hollers how busy they are, how busy they are. Okay, well, if I have a bird and I named it after my mother,
Right.
and I'm missing my mom that day, and I take that bird and I throw her up and I fly my bird. When someone passes, the first thing we say is, they're up there looking down on us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, where's the bird?
Right.
Up there, doing what? Looking down on you. So if that bird is named after your mom, your cousin, your brother, whoever, throw them up.
Yeah.
That person's looking down on you. To me, nature taught me to understand that everything I was taught about nature was wrong. You can hear the leaves grow, the trees growing. You can hear the roots spreading up. If you close your eyes and close your mind and just listen with your heart, you'll hear everything. I explain to people, David Copperfield didn't make the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Mm-hmm.
But you saw it, so you believed it. He didn't walk through the Great Wall of China, but you saw it, so your eyes made you believe it. You know it's impossible, yet and still you wanted to believe it because you saw it. So what happened if you closed your eyes and somebody said he walked through the wall? You would never believe it.
Right.
So there you go. Close your eye. Stop letting this physical, what you see in this visual, everything dictate. Close them, shut down, and use the one sense that we never really use, and that's your ears listening to your heart. It's going to tell you exactly what it needs to tell you. My animals, if I'm missing my uncle and I go out there and talk to my goat, I hear him talking back to me. He doesn't tell me what I want to hear. He would tell me exactly what he would say if he was sitting right there in front of me. So if I was in the wrong and I'm sitting there, man, Uncle Coot, blah, 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 I would hear him saying, "Nah, nephew, you wrong. You the one need to apologize. You need to do this. And there you go. So I just tell people it's all in what you believe in. If you don't believe in it, okay, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And don't tell me what I shouldn't believe in because you don't understand it.
Well, so I always say nature is honest. What is nature is honest? What does that mean for you?
You can't lie. You can't lie in nature. Oh, I'm a survivor. I can make it. Go out there, let it start raining. You're going to drown. Can't build a shelter, can't start a fire, can't catch food, can't grow anything. You have no idea what nature really is. You think nature is, oh, it's a bad weather today. Oh, the sun is out today. No. Nature is so much more. This is the most complicated woman I've ever met in my life.
Oh goodness. Yeah, I think definitely for me, I learned a lot of life lessons being still in nature. Like, and opening myself up to be able to listen more and like feel the energy, but also like, what are you trying to tell me? And then that kind of be my guide. And I feel like, you know, with society and the hustle and bustle of life and work and all of these, like it really does become noise to where you're not in tune with those things anymore.
Well, that's why I'm out here where I am now. Some people actually came down last weekend, and a guy moved from Connecticut. He moved to Virginia, and he texted me and asked me, could he come down here to visit the property and everything. So I told him, sure, come on down. We were outside talking, and he asked me, did I miss the city? I told him, no, I wouldn't move back. If you gave me $20 million, I wouldn't move back. I said, man, I can come outside on my porch at 3 o'clock in the morning, sip my coffee. I'm not worried about a gunshot, robbery, people. I go in the store. I'm not walking through 30 people to get in the store. I don't have to step over none of those things. I said, the town that I'm in, we don't even have a red light. There's maybe 6 stop signs in the entire town. And I love it. Peace and quiet. I don't hear ambulance all day long, fire trucks or shootings or none of that. So when you get away from it, I tell people you have to have a place where you're going to implode or explode. You're either going to hurt yourself or you're going to mess around and hurt somebody that you love accidentally. So come on down here, bring your tent, and we'll camp out. I have 7 acres, 6.9 acres. People come, they pitch their tents, they stay for weekends. They have a natural spring at the bottom of the hill. Like I said, they wake up in the morning, there's fresh eggs laying around. The chickens done laid eggs everywhere. Go get your eggs. There's an apple tree. We plant gardens. And it's just a place where you can come and get away. If you want to get destructive, you got something, you just want to get it out. Well, take the axe and go chop a tree down. You know, what we're going to do with that tree after you take it down, now we're going to build something, build a bird house, build a flower garden, build the railings around for the goat pen or something. We're going to use that. And now you're going to see what you are out of your anger, what beauty came out of it when you didn't use it to be destructive against somebody else. You used it and it turned it to be constructive, and look what it became. So you done made a house for all of these critters that live in the soil. You're going to grow you something. It's going to help you by enriching your soil, giving you better nutrient foods than what you could buy at the store. And that's why. So it's all the Monacan Indians have a saying, Matakwe Wasan, which means we're all connected. We all belong to each other. We're all responsible for each other and everything. So that's just how I try to live now from who I used to be.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that, sharing that message, because I think of the, I guess, opinions or feedback, and the thing that stood out to me was the weather. When you mentioned weather, that it can be so surface level for people, and like nature, wildlife gets these bad raps, but we don't take the time to understand that connection. And it's interesting to think about nature as, you know, being labeled as destructive, but I feel like it's such a tool for us to see how gentle we can be with ourselves and how connected we can be with ourselves, whether it's us as individuals, with family, with community, and thinking about this understanding of kinship. Kinship, yeah, to one another. Like, what does that really mean, and how can we better show up for ourselves and for each other when we learn more of those lessons?
It's kind of funny you said that. I actually posted the other day a picture with the caption saying that you have to learn to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the one biggest thing I think nature helped me to do. Being out there, really sitting there hearing the water running and the crickets and the frogs, and and you can really think, no phones on, no none of that, and you can really just sit there and absorb and understand, and it really takes your mind on an entirely different wavelength. You literally start to visualize what it is that you want to do, where you want to go, how you want to be, and it can help you get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it provides the visuals, the opportunities. Like, it helps you better see the different pathways, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
That's so eye-opening. I instantly think of my birding journey. I think learning about birds through the internship I did, and like really paying attention to what I was doing during the internship really helped me better understand, like, think about my life and my role in nature, like, more holistically, because it wasn't just like, oh, I'm collecting data or, paying attention to the bands on the birds. Like, it was so much more than that for me. And I think more so because I'd been through trauma as a child. And I think I've always been seeking that balance and that time for, like, to be able to rest and, like, not be so guarded because of the trauma, and, like, guarded, like, with people, with humans. And nature just gave me that, like, tap on my shoulder, like, hey, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be on guard. You can release that. You can let it go. And you can rebuild your confidence, rebuild your joy and passion for life, like, just life. Because I was just always tuned into those really, like, the little things, but they felt like such big things. Like, I was in a movie and I'm just, like, experiencing, like, being able to see a bee in a flower, collecting pollen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, like, so eye-opening. But for other people, it may be, oh, that's annoying, or, like, but for me, I'm just like, I am in slow motion right now.
But it can be both. It can
beautiful.
be annoying and beautiful at the same time. Yeah, it can be both.
And I think
That's nature. That's the whole thing about her. She
having
can be
that
everything she want to be and then some, and you can't judge her.
Right, because it is what it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
You get what you get.
That's it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Rodney, you got me thinking about some stuff over here. I want to move on to my next question. And again, audience, anyone who's tuned in currently, thank you for viewing. Please share in the comments or chat where you're viewing from. Love to see that, as well as any questions you might have for Rodney. We're having an amazing conversation right now, and I'm continuing to think more about my relationship with nature and just how it's transformed my life, but also helped me help others see the beauty of it all. Going back to the question with regard to working with youth and, like, your conservation work and working with youth, do you have an example of how your programs or work have transformed a young individual?
Well, I don't like to say that my program did anything.
Mm-hmm.
That young person did it. Whoever that person was, they did it. they went to hundreds of shows, football games, projects, programs, school. So something in whatever it was that I was saying to them registered to them that made them do it. So I don't never like to take the credit from the hard work that they did. I've had people come up and say, man, you saved my life. If it wasn't for you, I know where I'd be at. And I say, no, I didn't save your life. You saved your life. You got up every morning, 6 o'clock, got dressed at the bus stop or at work on time. I wasn't in front of your door making you do that, getting you up. So don't take away from what you've accomplished. I just feel like I was a blessing. It's a blessing to me to be a part of when your life changed, when you decided to make those changes. So I don't think that I was ever a part of somebody changing in that way. There's a young man when Barack Obama was elected. He was standing on the Capitol at the Lincoln Memorial with an eagle. The eagle's name was Mr. Lincoln. The guy's name is Robert West. I used to mentor him. He got an internship at the American Eagle Foundation in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which was supposed to be for 3 months, which turned into I think it was 8 or 10 years he was out there.
Wow.
So he'll be one that will tell you, man, my uncle, because he called me his uncle. My uncle did this and that. No, you did this.
Yeah.
You did. So I just always look at it as being a blessing to have been there at the time when that light bulb went off and you decided, I want to start doing this, because you didn't change instantly. Everything is a process. You didn't come and then tomorrow you was the whole different person. No, you didn't. You had to stop who you were to become who you are now.
Right.
So that part of it, that all belongs to them.
Yeah, I feel like when you're speaking to me right now, because I'm literally like, this is awesome. Okay, so you're making me think about my own personal experience and like thinking about and you acknowledging like I'm not taking credit because they did the work. I'm going back to my own experience and like the trauma that I experienced when I was younger, but also knowing like there's so many people that I can say, oh my goodness, the same thing, like you saved my life or you did this, but also thinking about my own work and like realizing, yes, I put in that time because I was fighting for myself to stay connected to who I wanted to be, you know, in life and not disconnect from that. So in what ways, and this is a more personal question for you, in what ways do you feel like you were fighting for yourself in the trauma and destruction that you were going through as you went through life?
Well, as where it pertains into nature-wise, 1992, one of our original core members, we had went to Texas. Her name was Monique Johnson. She was brutally raped and murdered and beat with a hammer. Come to find out she was pregnant. That whole experience where they tried to blame us and had us at the police station, just a lot.
Yeah.
Before all of that happened, it was 9 wild, crazy individuals who started becoming a family. We made promises that if anything ever happened, because at that time we were still out in the streets and doing the stuff we were doing, 21, 22 years old. So we made promises that we would always do something and keep that other person's name alive no matter what. When that happened with Monique, if you watch any documentary, anything of mine, you'll hear Monique, Benny, James, and Tink. Those were 4 of the original 9 core members. So my promise to them was, people gonna know who y'all are and what you stood for, where you were, and what you had become before these tragic circumstances. So with me, like I said, that's why a lot of my animals and stuff is named after. I had a horse. I named her Dippy. She's a thoroughbred, sandy gray, everything. And people said, well, why'd you name your horse Dippy? I said, my mother rode my back 45 years before she died. I'm going to ride the heck out of hers. So that's why I named the horse after her. You know, those things. So whenever you're missing these people
Yeah.
or, you know, certain things, there's always, for me, it's always been an animal. No person could ever understand because you've never been through what I went through. And even though we went through the same experiences, we still haven't been through the same things in life that built up to, so we can never totally understand it. But when I look in my animals' eyes and I explain to them the things I can't say to anybody else without ever speaking a word, and feel them telling me I love you just because you're you. The rest is history. I don't, yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons why I try not to take credit from people or do it, because I know losing my mother last year in September, my little brother passed in my home. He lived with me. He had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. They had let him out in like March. He died in September in my back bedroom.
Wow.
Before he passed, if you would have saw him when I picked him up, he was so frail he couldn't barely move. He got out here, and within 3 weeks, he was up feeding the animals before I even got out of the bed. I know what nature can do because I watched my little brother, who is an animal nut, fight cancer for that 5 months and get up every day, feed horses, feed goats, feed rabbits every morning. So I didn't have anything to do with that. That was all nature.
Wow.
That's why she's called our mother.
What a blessing. What a blessing. I feel like that speaks so much to power. Like it's literally a life force. I always just think it's a life force. It gives so much life. Thank you for sharing that. And how has your work, I guess, I'm trying to think of the best way to ask this question. How has your work, and I don't want to say work, but like your just life, like you're living life. I don't want to always label it as work. Helped you along your grief journey in thinking about your loved ones and keeping them alive in your memory?
Oh, believe me, without them, matter of fact, can you see this dog here?
Yes. Hi.
There's another dog over there. Without them, I'd have lost it. When my mom passed, I had the little white dog. Before my mom, I had her and another dog. And that Father's Day, I had to put my dog down. I came in, that dog would not leave me at all. I'm pushing her away. I'm move. That dog crawled under me, cried with me, slept underneath, everything. She did everything that no person could do. Because my mother's nickname was Dippy, Dippy. And I always used to say that stood for didn't I properly prepare you? And she did. She properly prepared me for everything except living without her. However, she taught me I'm never living without her. I'm just living without her physically.
Yeah.
That's it. So knowing that, along with my brother, my aunts, my cousins, my son, everybody. I have a son that was murdered 2 years ago. So I got an animal named after him. Same thing. I have a rabbit out back named after him. So every time I'm missing him and I walk past, I'm like, what's up, Dad? You doing what? Skibo, because we used to call each other Skibo. I come out Skibo. So my animals, to me, the physical person, that shell is not there.
Yeah.
The person's always there. So my aunt, that's one of the things I think without them, I'd be in a padded room somewhere or in the cell or in the grave already. There's no way. Yeah. I grieve over my animal more than I grieve over people. Because 2 weeks before my little brother died, I had a quarter horse named Charlotte Fay, named after two aunts that had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away 2 weeks before my little brother died. When my brother died, before he died, I told him, I said, she waiting for you, basically. He died 2 weeks later, and I told everybody he needed a horse to ride when he got to heaven. So she
Yeah.
went along with him, and there you go. So that alone makes me feel better about her passing,
Mm-hmm.
who she represented, and him passing, because I know they together.
Wow. Have you experienced any of this transformation in connection with grief and loss, working with youth?
Actually, I did a Zoom call about a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about why I named my animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The whole group wrote me letters. I actually just got them a week or so ago, so I've been reading them.
Yeah.
And some of the people said the same thing, that they now have named their animals after their loved one, and they look at it differently now. It's not just a dog anymore. It's not just a cat anymore. It's not just a fish anymore. It's that person sitting there. It's that, they can see their faces in them sometimes, stuff like that. So for me, that's the most beautiful thing. You went from, it's still a grieving, and it's a whole different way of grieving. It's a feel-good grieving. You're always gonna miss the physical person that wasn't there, that's not there anymore. However, you can still make memories. My mom go with me every day when I go do a show. She's right there with me. When I look over, I see her in the crowd. That simple.
Yeah. Wow. Is you're thinking about your mom, in what ways did she support you in your work in doing falconry or just having a love of nature?
In one of the videos, I explained to people, support is an understatement. My mom, that you can't even, there's not even a word created for her to put who that is. I always tell people, my mother was always proud of me. She wasn't always proud of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Before she died, I got to make her proud of what I was doing. I have pictures of her on her 62nd birthday, arm up, glove out, hawk flying to the glove, landing on her arm. She's sitting there with the birds, all these things. Man, my mom, yeah. I can't even begin.
I'm beaming just hearing you.
Yeah, I can't even begin to describe Big Dip. 5'5", Taurus the bull, stubborn as a mug, heart of gold, literally. And will tell you what it was. The one thing my mom didn't do was BS anybody. Does this look good on me, Dippy? No. Does this make me? Yes. She brutally honest with you. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Okay. Anybody have any questions? I'm having to circle back so I don't get too consumed, because I literally can talk to you for like 5 hours, but I can't do it. So, to like remind myself that we're on a live right now. But if anyone has any questions for Rodney, please share them in the chat or the comments. And I want to, because the title of this virtual event is Inspiring Legacy of a Black Falconer. So I have a couple questions in regards to legacy. And I guess my first question would be, do you think of your work as having a legacy? Like, what does that mean to you when you hear the word legacy in connection to the work that you do and the life that you live?
Not, because to me, the only legacy that matters is my kids, my
Mm-hmm.
grandkids, what I left here, what I did with all of the other stuff really doesn't, those were blessings along the way. So people gonna judge you. You could have done 900 things that was right. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that people felt was wrong. And your entire legacy of all 900 things didn't matter. They only think about that one. So I don't never really put stock into what a legacy like that. My whole thing is the people that I touched, inspired, whatever adjective you want to use to describe, that's what matters to me. Those people that didn't know me, never saw me, never talked to me, why do I, what difference does it make what legacy I left to you? You didn't even know me.
Mm-hmm.
So my legacy is to those people who know me, that talk to me, that reached, those type of things. But as far as a stranger that just has an opinion,
Right.
okay, and they're entitled to it.
Yeah.
But I don't look at it as that of a, that's my legacy. I'm gonna be remembered for this and all of this.
Mm-hmm.
There was a quote in a movie that I used to like, and the guy asked him, why don't he ever go on these missions with them? Is he afraid to die? The guy said, I'm not scared to die. I refuse to die until history records my greatness.
Right.
So I already felt like anything you've ever done, if I can Google your name and find something that you've done positive, history has recorded your greatness. There's your legacy. So anybody else, whatever, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I have a lot of people ask, what advice do I want to give? But then I realize there's a point where I'm not going to be here, and I don't think it will really matter. So, I mean, that things change all the time, So it's like, to me, I don't feel like I can really answer that question, unless I was immortal. I don't know, but it feels interesting to think about legacy. So I think a lot of people connect it to offspring, like your children or your grandchildren. But then I think of it like as all encompassing of, did I live the life that I want to live when I was here? And that to me shows, more of the internal, I guess, impact, if that makes sense, of what.
Are the people that you love proud of you?
Yeah.
If you can say that the people that you love, that means something to you, was proud of you, what else does matter? Who, the other people don't even know. They don't even. So what difference? That's why I tell people, don't get caught up into this whole legacy, this and these people. Look at all these rappers and entertainers and all this stuff that's coming out on all these people everybody idolize and all this stuff, all these. No. So be you. The people that died yesterday had plans for today. So,
and those plans aren't promised. Those plans are not promised.
So yesterday's gone. Tomorrow may not come. So if you here now, live like it's not coming. Stop worrying about all that other stuff, all that craziness. The system is set up to drive you crazy. Nature is set up as your detour. Get off that crazy highway, take that detour through nature and let your mind rest. Your body is not the only thing that needs to rest. Your mind needs to rest.
Yes. That is so true. That is so true. And that takes me back to these past few years, when in creating Black Birders Week, I thought so much more about my mental health and how exhausted I was mentally, not even thinking about like the physical, you kind of just, you're used to it. Like you just go through the motions, but like when you get to the mental health, you're like, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I've been slacking.
Believe me, people always will tell you when your body tired, it'll let you know you'll go to sleep. But what happens when your mind tired? It'll let you know you start thinking those crazy thoughts and doing crazy things. Go relax your mind. Go rejuvenate your mind. That's what it's about.
We don't have to run ourselves ragged. We really don't.
Nope.
Wow. Is there thinking about our theme? So our theme is Wings of Justice, and we really wanted to circle back to the concept of what justice means when it comes to the environment, community, ourselves, like thinking about the events that took place in 2020. So the murder of George Floyd, the Christian Cooper incident, but also justice in the form of rest, I guess. One of our days is celebrating rituals, which focuses on mourning or highlights mourning as a form of justice. What does that mean for you? And thinking about the work that you do and living your life, why is justice? Why do you think justice is important in this work?
But thinking justice is important,
Yeah.
and actually getting justice is
Right.
two different things. So, for every reason that justice is supposed to be important is the reason that you would think about. However, in reality, getting justice is a whole different thing. And then in some people's eyes, again, everything is everyone has their own definition of everything. Right. There used to be a time where there was one thing that stood universally for something. Now it's everybody has their own different opinion. So what's just to you may not be just to them. What's this to them is, and I try not to even get caught up with it all.
Yeah.
I see it every day. I've worked in the prison systems, doing the programs at the jails. I see how young people, older people get themselves caught up, how corrupt police, how honest police, I've seen it all. So I just try to do me, live mine, make sure I'm right, and help out when I can. I tell people, the story about the farmer and his wife that got bit by the snake?
Yeah.
That's if people understand the chicken, the lamb, and the cow, all that whole relationship, if they don't understand that, then they're going to be lost forever. Because without one, the rest of them didn't make it. When the mouse went and told them, hey, he put that trap in there, the cow, the lamb, and the chicken told them, hey, it ain't got nothing to do with us. We outside animals. But look what happened. So, that whole justice thing, I think it comes around on its own. Justice is more of a, I don't necessarily want to say spiritual, but it's outside the realms of what we could ask for. Because some people mentally go through things that a jail cell or fine or whatever couldn't possibly touch. So that mental anguish, that mental can't sleep at night, the nightmares that go on, that to me sometimes is worth more than anything that you think you could have punished them with. Because do you actually feel that it was justice afterwards?
Yeah.
So I don't believe that really even exists, because you can't tell me the guy that murdered my son, if he got life in jail, that's justice. That's not justice. So I don't believe in that word anymore like that. It's believe in it is one thing, accepting what you're going to get from it is something different.
Yeah. No, thank you for that perspective. That really, is helping me think more about the word too. And the different, like you were saying, it's how it's perceived and how people define it. There's so many different definitions for it. And bringing that into perspective, because I feel like a lot of that has been left
Goodness,
out.
Booba.
Is that a snore?
Yes, my dog is
asleep. Getting a good nap over there. thinking about all of, just life, but, things happening in society, and the work that we do in regards to Black Birders Week is to uplift and inspire and amplify the voices of Black people, with whether it's their interests, as a hobby, recreation, academic, is to shine a light on why those passions are important, why that love, why that joy is important, to help inspire other Black people. So I very much feel like you're doing that for us, and the work that you do, and your honesty, just the honesty, just puts everything in perspective, because it really just helps us paint a better picture about life, of just being honest. We really need to be more honest with ourselves and with our family and community, and that, I feel like, will get us to a better place, and living life, really living and being present. And it speaking, I guess, this message of, just being more in tune with the now. I think 2020 definitely taught us that, and helping me realize that we think we have time. It's time just is a foreign thing, but it's a very strange thing. But when you really think about it, it's oh, we're putting ourselves in these spaces where we feel like we have to be doing all these things, all the time, and moving around and getting this thing done, doing that thing. And it's just but you stop for a second, and, somebody might ask you, what did you do? What was this all for? And you probably don't have an answer. You're just going through the motions. And 2020 helped me really just slow down and be present, and really understand to be more intentional with my time for myself and with other people, and show more love and grace to myself. And nature helped me do that too. Nature is just always just giving me these life lessons. So I feel like that's an opportunity for me to nature is always teaching me something, even though I feel like I figured it out, and it's something else. And it's just oh, yep. You thought. So I very, very, very much appreciate you sharing your perspective, your work, your passion, your love, your honesty with all of us. And just you being you. That's the other thing of just you being you. You're beautiful, you're amazing, and you're inspiring. So with that, if you want to share a final thought with our audience before we wrap up, I would love to hear.
I guess finally, the last thing I would say is love yourself more, love others, love life.
Yes.
Because one day, all of us are going to look to the left and to the right, and one of us isn't going to be there anymore. So get out there, enjoy, go fly kites together, go sit under a tree together, go do the cookouts like you used to do. Just had the old cassette playing on the table, and just really go out, really get back. Go take your shoes off. If that's the one thing, everybody tomorrow morning, just go take your shoes off, go stand outside on the ground for 5 minutes, and let mom heal you.
And it's a wonderful healing.
Yes.
It is a wonderful healing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rodney. If anyone's interested in connecting with you or learning more about you and your work, how can they do that?
You can go on Rodney's Raptors and shoot me an email, see what's going on. There's the things on there for the little swag gear. There's things on there to be able to come down and camp out. Like I said, get up in the morning. I have hammocks and dartboards and badminton and horseshoes, and we just get out and have a good time. Bring your family down, camp out for weekends, and have fun. This is one of the places you definitely can reconnect to nature.
That sounds amazing. I would love, love, love to visit. and just hang out and chill and enjoy the day. You have some things coming up. I believe you'll be at Bliss Meadows tomorrow.
Yes.
With Tia Wells, which is a good friend of ours. What will you be doing for that event?
I usually take the birds up. I'll take probably 2 or 3 of the birds with me, go up, set up in a little booth area. People usually come up, ask a lot of questions, get pictures. And like I said, everybody thinks that everything's an eagle. So you at least start to educate people on the different species of birds out here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what I do with them. It's pretty much what I do everywhere. I say whatever someone needed that came, they got what they needed. So my thing is to give whoever it is whatever they needed. So while I'm there, they got it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I very much appreciate you. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you were watching, this will be recorded so you can play it back. If you didn't have time to watch the whole thing, you can watch the replay. Tomorrow officially starts Black Birders Week. So we will have our first day being roll call. So introduce yourself and find your flock, whether it be online or offline. And be sure to find some time to get out to birdwatch. Hopefully you can find some of the birds that we are highlighting, which again are the corvids. So we have the blue jays, we have the magpies and crows that we're representing on our merch. But there's a bunch of other species that you can hopefully find in your area, region, wherever you are. And we're going to have a great start to the week. I'm looking forward to getting out and connecting. And if you are on that side of town, I believe that's Baltimore, correct?
Yes.
We're Bliss Meadows. Check out Bliss Meadows. Oh my goodness, Atia is amazing. She and her family, oh my goodness, doing all the things. And like you were talking about the chickens and, you know, the courses and all of that stuff connected to the land and connecting community and finding joy in the outdoors. Please check that event out and hopefully you get to spend some time with Rodney. Thank you all so much. I very much appreciate you. And stay tuned. Check out anything that we have going on our website, www.blackafnstem.com, or on our social media. So we have Facebook, Twitter, X, which is formerly Twitter, and then we also have YouTube. So feel free to check those out. Any of the recordings and the schedule that we have set up ahead for this week coming up. And without further ado, thank you all for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.